Planners and economic development professionals getting together to make these deals work, make these packages work. When it comes to individual tenants like Crumble, like Mod, like Jimmy John's, like ATI, and all the others here in Sonoran Creek, they're looking at the overall growth of the city. They love seeing the new homes. They love seeing the apartments. They want that diversity of housing because they know that's what's going to produce the workforce housing that they need. Everyone is always asking me, and as part of my job, I'm talking to developers and retailers on a daily basis. And one of the questions these groups are always asking me is, where are my employees going to live? And they love seeing that we're building new homes, building new rooftops daily. All right, and that's what's bringing these businesses in. And I'll tell you, it's not going to stop with these. There's more and more talks we're having, more and more users coming. That's super exciting. If we look at more of Sonoran Creek, this is just some of the more and more ones that are going to be coming. Take a look at Sprouts. You see all of those inline shops with a restaurant on the end cap, and Marshall's is going to be on the other end cap. And then just as this building over here that has Mod Pizza, Crumble, Jimmy John's, and ATI has multiple tenants, this other building under construction is another multi-tenant building where you can expect several more shops to join the Maricopa family.
Wow, that's an incredibly expansive addition to our community. It's a very exciting time to be a resident of Maricopa. Hey, for more information on what's new and coming here in your community, check out what'snewmaricopa.com.
Favorite thing. Good. Good.
2-year-old Mia Preston is the picture of unbridled joy.
Oh, that's pretty. That's so pretty. Swimming. Good.
This picture shows Mia gliding with an ear-to-ear grin during her first swim lesson. It's an image Mia's mother can cherish forever, especially when she compares it against the one taken just 43 days earlier.
They say it takes 21 seconds for a child to go unconscious in the water.
For Mia, those seconds of misfortune happened while her family was on vacation. She was playing with her siblings when, in a moment of distraction, Mia slipped out a back door and fell into the pool.
She basically drowned. My husband had to pull her out of the pool and administered CPR.
Mia's father continued that CPR for over 20 minutes until paramedics arrived and got Mia's heart beating again on its own. But Mia's battle was just beginning. She would spend 9 days in the ICU, 9 days during which her parents not only didn't know whether she'd survive, but also if she'd ever be the same.
Who's that? Yeah. Who's that, Mia? Who's that? Who's that?
Mushy bear.
Mushy bear.
Mushy bear. Should we open it? Run, come back and hide.
Against the odds, Mia's condition improved, and miraculously, she's now on the road to a full recovery, a road that included a quick return to the water.
As soon as Mia got out of the hospital, the first thing I wanted to do was get her back into the water because she loved swimming, and we were really nervous that this accident would have prevented her from probably ever swimming again.
The more frequent outcome is a story that's become far too familiar for Arizona families, and one the city of Maricopa is determined to rewrite with a program called Maricopa Swims Safe in the Water.
The Maricopa Swim Safe in the Water program is designed for kids, and essentially the purpose of that is to start teaching kids at an early age how to be able to assist themselves in the instance that they fall into the water.
Suspended during the pandemic, the program is now making a comeback. Participating elementary schools bus first graders to Copper Sky for their immersive classes.
This is 4 45-minute sessions. The first 10 minutes we go over talking about water safety and going through our safety ranger program. And then we spend the rest of the time in the water going from not being comfortable to put their face in the water to being able to jump in the deep end, float on their back, and get out of the water safely.
The goal is to eventually expand the program throughout the district and invite charter schools into the pool as well. In order to get there, the community has the chance to suit up.
We can't do it without instructors, and we pay pretty decent, and it's a lot of fun. You get a free Copper Sky membership. We can't do these programs without instructors, so I hope anybody seeing this that has 3 or 4 hours open in their morning or early afternoon could come by and learn how to be an instructor.
Knowing knowing that what I'm doing is ultimately going to help them in the long run, there's no better feeling like it.
A feeling of satisfaction for instructors and a sense of security for families like the Prestons, who found in Mia's story a new conviction for these life-saving skills.
CPR certification and swim safety with lessons is like, that's all we could advocate. We'll use her platform and her story to sell that for the rest of our lives.
Swimming. Good.
In case he pulls out.
Hold up! Go. Hey Maricopa, it's me, Sergeant Hal Kuzer. I'm here with my friends here at the police department. We've got a brand new tool that's going to help our officers out on the street and keep everybody safe. It's called a bolo wrap.
We're implementing bolo wrap for the first time at MPD. It's a new technology that doesn't use pain compliance to work. It prevents us from using taser, baton, pepper spray, which are pain compliance tools, and we're excited to be using it. It wraps around a person, takes a Kevlar cable with hooks on the end, kind of like Spider-Man, wraps a person up so they can't take a step, they can't move their arms, allows us to go in safely, take them into custody without hurting the suspect, without hurting the officer. Prevents us from having to take a person down to the ground, get into a scuffle. The thing with a bolo wrap that makes it unique is that it's completely different in shape and in size. It's not something that we're going to get mixed up. We know when we're holding on to this, we know it's not our gun, we know it's not our taser. We don't think officers are going to get this mixed up with a firearm or a taser. We update the training for the officers and for the instructors on a yearly basis. The officers today at MPD are going through operator training. They're doing practical scenarios, they do a written test, they do malfunction drills, they learn how to safely operate the unit and when they cannot use it. We wrap each other so we know how to deploy, we know what it feels like, we know how to deploy when a person is standing still, when they're walking. So we think that the officers are well trained and well equipped to go out and use this with confidence to safely take care of our public.
Yeah. And that's a wrap.
This is our fate, and we will overcome. No, we don't play. Whoa, whoa. So walk with the greats. You got to pay the price. No time to waste. Whoa, we will overcome.
Hey, I'm Nathan Oliot, Community Services Director for the City of Maricopa, and I'm here today at the first ever in the state of Arizona fitness court that was really brought to you in part, largely in part, by Global Water through one of their sponsorships. And we're just here today to talk about what an incredible thing it was that Global Water decided to do 3 years ago.
It's through sponsorships, especially with Global Water and their significant contribution, that we're able to really expand on the entertainment side of things and also on activities that are available. We've expanded from 3 signature events to 5. We added the Copa Glow, which is the hot air balloon festival. And also, we have an event that is coming up in just a few weeks, our multicultural event. And for example, we are able, based upon the generosity of Global Water and their sponsorship, we're able to bring in some entertainment acts. We've got Polynesian dancers lined up. We're working on some Congo and steel drum performances. So it's those types of things that those extra dollars help to not only expand the events, but bring more events and bring entertainment to those events.
We are the first city to have a recreational esports program. We won the 2020 Arizona Parks and Recs Association Award for Best Sports Program. Global Water's contribution gives us the funds to start this program, which we have over 400 unique players that have enrolled in the program so far. It also allowed us to switch to an online platform once the pandemic hit. So we were able, about 120 people signed up online, and they were able to participate in our online programming, and it was awesome. If there was a timing to prove the value of this program and the versatility, it was then. The pandemic hits, the coaches already were like, let's just switch it online. Within the next weekend, everybody else was locking down, we had 22 people in our tournament. It's a way for kids that are good at video games to be competitive at something they're good at, to meet friends with the same interest. I mean, I didn't meet any friends that play video games, but now you can, you know, and you can build those lasting relationships thanks to a program like this.
Rec and the Greenbelt is
Pastor Roger from Calvary Chapel of Maricopa to give the invocation, and after which we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance given to us by City Council Member Wade. So if you all rise.
Lord Jesus, thank you so much for the opportunity to gather here tonight. Lord, we are all unanimously grateful for the freedoms we have in our country. Lord, we want to lift up Nancy Smith, our mayor, our city council, and Lord, the decisions that are made here tonight, that they would be done peacefully, in order, in a way that edifies our city, Lord. We want to pray for the city of Maricopa and for its residents. God, we pray for safety and that they would prosper and grow. And Lord, we want to lift up our first responders, Lord, our military, our policemen, Lord, our firefighters, and all of those, Lord. And we just ask, God, you keep them safe. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you, Pastor Roger, and thank you, Councilmember Wade. We'll now move to roll call.
Councilmember Learman?
Here.
Councilmember Marsh?
Here.
Councilmember Vitiello?
Here.
Councilmember Wade?
Here.
Vice Mayor Manfredi?
Here.
Mayor Smith?
Here.
Madam Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Vanessa. That'll take us to item 3.1 on the agenda, which is the newly appointed council member, Eric Gettle, will assume office. The Honorable Judge Lyle Riggs will administer the oath of office.
If you'll raise your right hand and please repeat after me. I, Eric Gettle,
I, Eric Gettle,
do solemnly swear
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Arizona,
and the Constitution of the State of Arizona,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
and defend them
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
and
that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of council member of the City of Maricopa according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations, Councilman.
Thank you, Judge.
Welcome, City Council member. All right, we do have one proclamation where I'm going to introduce Naya Carson to come up to the microphone. Naya is from the governor's office, and she's issuing a proclamation from the governor to the city of Maricopa for Hispanic Heritage Month.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. It is an honor to be here this evening on behalf of Governor Doug Ducey in recognition of Hispanic Heritage Month, and thank you for the opportunity and invitation to read this proclamation. Allow me. State of Arizona Proclamation. Whereas for more than a century, Arizona has celebrated a diverse culture, and today the Hispanic community makes up nearly 1/3 of the state's population. And whereas the Hispanic community is a dynamic, valued part of our society, and whereas with an entrepreneurial spirit, a strong work ethic, and an unwavering belief in the American dream, the Hispanic community has shown to be a vital contributor to our economy. And whereas the prosperity of our state and nation is closely tied to the success of our citizens of Hispanic heritage, who are a significant and growing segment of our population, and who contribute in every aspect of Arizona life while preserving the unique customs and traditions of their ancestors. And whereas Hispanic individuals have earned our nation's highest military decorations and played a significant role in our academic, scientific, legal, political, and artistic communities. And whereas Hispanic culture shapes the Arizona experience and influences our art, literature, music, food, and faith, thereby enriching our state. Now therefore I, Douglas A. Ducey, Governor of the state of Arizona, do hereby proclaim September 15th through October 15th, 2022 as Hispanic Heritage Month, and encourage the citizens of Arizona to celebrate the talents, culture, and spirit of Hispanic heritage. I would like to present this proclamation to you, Madam Mayor, and members of the City Council. Thank you. Thank you.
We missed a photo of our new council member earlier, so we ran it. It's a prom photo. Thank you. We didn't get dressed up for nothing.
All right, at this point, that'll take us to the report from the mayor, and I will turn it over to my city council first. So let's start with Councilmember Bob Marsh.
Very busy last month. On August 18th, I attended the USA luncheon, and can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Testing 1, 2.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, on August 18th, I attended an MUSD luncheon, and there we got an update on the new high school and on the progress that the MUSD has made in the last couple months. On August 19th, I got to take over hosting the Lunch and Learn, the senior Lunch and Learn meetings. And I wanted to publicize a change I've made in the Lunch and Learn. The door prizes that we draw are no longer gift bags. Now it's $25 gift certificates. So 3 of those will be given out at each Lunch and Learn. On August 23rd, we had a special council meeting where we adopted a plan to pick a new council member to fill the empty seat. On August 20th, I sat in on the Pinal County Board of Adjustment meeting. August 30th through September 2nd, along with all the other council members, I attended the Arizona League of Cities and Towns in Glendale. And a couple days after that, I got tested positive for COVID-19. So I've been quarantined until yesterday. But now I'm all well and I'm not contagious, so no worries. Coming up next Saturday is the Salsa Night Market, Saturday night at Copper Sky. So I hope to see you all there. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Gettle, this is your first opportunity. What do you have to share?
Thank you, Mayor. I am grateful for this opportunity to address, and I would just like to take a moment to express my gratitude to our City Council and our Mayor for placing their trust in me and having an opportunity for me to sit here on this dais. I have 2 years now to earn your trust, and I'm grateful for this opportunity to be able to represent you and to serve you at a deeper level here in the city level. So please reach out to me, let me know what I can do to help, and we will continue to move things forward. And so thank you again very much for this opportunity. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Learman.
I just want to thank again the 19 applicants that we had for the City Council seat. I want to welcome Councilmember Gettle to Council. I said this before, but I'll say it again. I was so honored to read all the applications and really excited to see how many community members were interested and ready to serve our city. Last Tuesday was really an exciting evening, and I want to thank the mayor too for her leadership that she showed throughout that process. So thank you again to all the applicants, and I look forward to the election process for 2024.
Councilmember Vidiello? Councilmember Wade? All right. Vice Mayor Manfredi. He thought I was going to miss you, huh?
Vince is fine. Just congratulations to Eric. It's, wow. Congratulations to Eric. Also, we have coming up in the next couple months, I think it's next month, a State of the City offered to us by our mayor, and hopefully she's going to talk about it a little bit. And I want to see as many people there as possible. I know it's not going to be flashy. There's not going to be a DeLorean or balloons or her rising in the sky or what's the other thing, zip lining or anything like that. But it's going to be fun and exciting and a good night to learn a lot about the city. I also wanted to take a moment to say thank you to the 19 people who applied for the position on City Council. You put yourself forward when not many people do. There's over 60, I don't even know anymore, 68,000 people in the city of Maricopa, and 19 people put their names in the hat and put themselves out for public view. And it's a hard thing to do. So thank you so much for you guys, and thank you so much to Eric for putting himself out there also and going through that process. And it's a great learning process, and I hope to see the 18 people that didn't make it on our ballot in 2024. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. So this finishes up my first month as mayor. And I have to tell you, I'm having a ball because the things that I have attended, the information that I've collected, the information I've been able to share has just been phenomenal. And it's amazing what we can accomplish here in the city by all of the relationships that we have. I know you've heard Mayor Price talk about relationships, and it is so true. Everywhere I go, I'm collecting cards from fascinating people that I'm talking to. And so at some point, you can count on the fact that I'll probably call them and say, I have something for you. So it's been really a lot of fun. To talk about the state of the city, it is October 19th. It's a Wednesday evening. Put that on your calendar. There'll be an opportunity, I believe, to sign up. We actually haven't talked about those details, but there's always been in the past the opportunity to sign up. It will be held here at City Hall, and what you're going to see and hear is renderings to reality. You know, so much what we present here are renderings, and you're like, oh, is that what it's going to look like? And then it becomes a reality, and so we want to talk about all of those elements that are currently happening, all those that have been successful, and what do we have to look forward to in the future. So I think it'll be a fun night. I'm sorry I'm not, you know, skydiving down or something like that, but I think you'll still have a lot of fun, and there will be a reception happening prior to that. So make sure you put that on your calendar. What was that? Next time. Yeah, next time. He says next time. I've never skydived, but it's an idea. Okay, so he'll pay. So one of the first things that I did in the past couple weeks was I went to this awesome event at A+ Charter School where their students, about 50 of them, drilled me one question after another question after another question. And they were awesome questions. They were from all spectrums, whether it be healthcare, you know, what's happening in the city in terms of new developments, what can be done for schools in terms of athletics. I mean, it was all kinds of fun questions. And what they were going to do is take that information that they gathered from me, do additional research, and turn it into an article. And I understand that they have an agreement with Maricopa. Sorry, I looked at you. I'm sorry. They have an agreement with Maricopa to actually possibly publish some of their articles. So be on the look for that, because I promise you, you will have a fascinating read from some of the things that they write. Then another opportunity I had was the Canada-Arizona Business Council, and the topic this month was on mining. And that is a fascinating topic. If you ever want to get into something that maybe you don't quite understand, oh my goodness. But the idea was that Canada is busy mining all of the products that we need. I don't know if you know, but an electric car takes 4 times, 5 times the amount of copper that a regular car takes. And so somebody's got to be mining for copper, right? We do have some copper mines here as well, so Arizona contributes to that. But there's so many other elements that other countries are mining for that we're dependent on. And so this organization is looking at what can we do about that, so Canada and the United States are actually joint in how we're approaching this, because the elements are so important to the technology of our future. There's also a new abstract art gallery in the library. I attended its grand opening, so if you're into art and you like abstract art, I encourage you to go to that. Some really wonderful work there. I also attended the MAG EDC because there was a fascinating conversation I took Ben Bitter with me. It was on Prop 400 extension. And again, I remind you, why is Prop 400 extension in Maricopa County important to us? And it's important because it has the northern part of State Route 347 in it. And so as you know, the governor vetoed that proposition, and so MAG, the executive committee, along with legislators, are looking at paths to allow for the governor to either turn his veto around or allow for it to move forward on the ballot probably sometime in 2023. So we just all need to keep that in our mind, be aware of it. They're not actually asking for action at this point because it's a very sensitive topic, and so they're moving to figure out ways to make that a turnaround, and that would be excellent for Maricopa because of State Route 347. We also, many of us attended the Transportation Summit. I posted a picture that has received a lot of dialogue on the process for getting a project successfully through ADOT. And if you go look on my Facebook, if you see that process, you're like, no wonder this takes so long. But anyway, understanding the process is really important to us so that we make sure that we're ahead of the game. And I know we all walked away with a lot of other important information about transportation. One additional thing that I picked up was we had a representative that spoke about the 5 elements that make projects successful through ADOT. And those elements are resources, right? You got to have the money. Data, good data is important as well. Stakeholders, that's normally, those that are interested in transportation. And elected official involvement, and I guarantee you, you have that from all of us up here in any regards to transportation and getting involved. And then also public engagement. This is the important one. And that takes me to my next element. On Friday, we were the host for the State Transportation Board. And why that's so important is it gives us an opportunity to invite our public to this meeting, understand how the process works, and also to get involved. And so you also understand that this is on my 100-day plan in regards to having a group of influencers who are there on these certain occasions when we have the opportunity to influence ADOT. And so I want to tell you, I'm so proud of the city of Maricopa. Everywhere you're sitting, you see some empty seats, right? There were very few empty seats at that meeting. And when I turned around and asked during my opportunity to speak about everyone standing up who lives in the city of Maricopa and our passion for transportation and State Route 347, nearly the entire room stood up, and it had an impact. And several of those folks are here today. So because of that, I want to thank Representative Martinez, Senator Shope, Councilmember Vitiello, META President and CEO Christian Price, residents Ron Smith, Bill Robertson, Ron Angerman, Tina Dugan for standing up and talking, along with our Chamber of Commerce President Yolanda Rodriguez. And I just want to tell you, at the end of this, the ADOT director very clearly said, Maricopa, I heard you loud and clear. And as long as we stay in front of them, they gave another example of a city that had a dire situation, and 2,800 residents from that city wrote emails to ADOT. And they talked about how quickly they got that immediate urgent need fixed because of the 2,800 people that wrote emails. And so influencing them is really important, and they talked often about how often Maricopa is in front of them and how they can't possibly forget us. And I got to promise you that I'll be at as many of those as possible speaking for the city of Maricopa. Two last things. One of the elements that was brought up in the conversation with the 19 applicants, and I can't remember if it was round 1 or round 2, was the need for a change. And one of our applicants said basically, I would have the consent agenda available to the public to also pull an item off of consent agenda. And so I just want to clarify that at our last city council meeting, we actually did have a member of the public turn in a speaker card for an item that's on consent agenda, and we ended up, well, we had a council member that was interested in it as well. We ended up pulling that item for discussion, and that allows the resident the opportunity to ask a question and get clarification. And so that opportunity is available. I ask you to use a speaker card because it makes it very clear that you have a question that you'd like to ask on a consent agenda item. So you do have that opportunity. And then lastly, this is always exciting to me. I received a call this morning from Senator Sinema. And remember, I'm always going to remind you, our politics here are nonpartisan. That's how we want to approach all of our representatives because of the fact that that's how they work best for us. Whether it's at the federal level, the state level, approach it from a nonpartisan perspective. And so when I received her call, I welcomed her call, and she asked me if there was anything that we could do, that she could do for us. And that same list of 6 projects that I had given to Congressman O'Halloran, I gave to her, and she appreciated it. And then as well, I told her we'll be visiting her in DC in March. So I love the fact that our federal representatives, as well as our state representatives, are interested in us enough to call and say, hi, welcome to this wonderful group of, people to talk to. So I thought that was really great. So that's your report from the council and mayor. At this time, we'll take us to the report from the city manager. Seeing none, thank you. That takes us to, let's see, at this time we'll go to the call to the public. I do have 2 speaker cards, so I'll call them up first, and we'll let them speak, and then if anyone else has a desire to speak to us, I certainly want to give you that opportunity. I do want to read this because it's important to understand how this works. Council requests that you express your ideas in 3 minutes or less and refrain from any personal attacks or derogatory statements about any city employee, a fellow citizen, or anyone else, whether in the audience or not. The mayor will limit discussion whenever she deems such an appropriate action is necessary. At the conclusion of an open call to the public, individual members of the council may respond if they are spoken about specifically. However, members of the council shall not discuss or take legal action on any matter during the open call to the public unless the matters are properly noticed for discussion and legal action. So if it's not on the agenda, we're not allowed to respond. So I just want to make you aware of that. Each person will be given 3 minutes. And the first person I'm going to call up is Richard Quinn. Richard, come forward, tell us where you live. Make sure the green button is on so we can hear you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and the City Council. I am Richard Quinn. I live in Homestead North, so 39921 West Walker Way. I am a veteran of my town council meetings where I used to live, but this is my first city council meeting here. The topic I wanted to talk about is really 2 related topics. I filed a police report on September 6th, and I waited for a response from the officer. The officer said he would look into it and record it. I sent him an email on September 12th, didn't get a response. I provided him documentation on the 6th as well. Last Friday on the 16th, I found out that he had been reassigned to the schools and was no longer handling my case. I had to request a copy of the police report because no one would tell me what was going on over the phone. So I didn't get that copy of the police report until yesterday. I had to pay $5 to get a copy of the report. I think it's unreasonable to expect a citizen to not get feedback when they call the police department and request assistance and find out what was going on. And I think it's unreasonable that I had to actually pay to get a report for an incident that I reported. In that report, it was in reference to someone violating an injunction against harassment I have against them. I reported that the person contacted me. The officer contacted that person. That person said they didn't mean to contact me, meaning they did contact me but didn't mean to. And then the officer closed the report by stating that nothing was done because the person did not make direct contact with me. If the person didn't make direct contact with me, I don't know what that means. If they contacted me but knew they weren't supposed to contact me and all this, I'd really appreciate it if somebody could help me with this police incident. Because the person did contact me. Some of you I know from Facebook, some of you, know when you ask to join a group, a request gets sent to the moderator of the group. That person asked to join a group that I'm the moderator for. I'm the only moderator, I'm the administrator of the group, I'm the only person who authorizes anyone. That person has worked for Intel for over 25 years. That person even worked for NASA. They knew how to look to see that I was the administrator of the group. They knew what they were doing. And, nothing was done because they didn't, reach out to me directly. They did reach out to me directly, and they knew what they were doing. And I'd appreciate help with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Quinn. That'll take us to the next speaker card, Mr. Bill Robertson.
Seems like I was just up here.
Mayor, Council, City Manager, staff, I want to take this opportunity to thank you for the process that you put the 19 candidates, us 19 candidates through. It was fair, it was transparent, it was competitive, and it was very inclusive. And I appreciate the efforts. It took a lot of work. A little bit more comfortable up here tonight than I was that night, a little less stressful. And I want to say that you made a great choice. Mr. Eric Gettle epitomizes service to the community. I worked with Eric on the CERT team, and I'm going to tell you a little story. I was the duty officer for CERT one week, and one day, a couple years ago, when I got a call from the Pinal County Office of Emergency Management saying that there was an imminent danger of a dam breaking on the Tohono O'odham Reservation that was going to take out a small village. And they were looking for people to fill up to 3,000 sandbags and get them down there. CERT is a service-oriented group. I immediately said, no problem. We'll respond. I hung up the phone and said, now what? What do I do? And I got thinking about the resources this community has, and it led me to Eric. Picked up the phone, called Eric, and said, Eric, I need some help, man. They want us to put a couple thousand sandbags together. Can we get the Boy Scouts or whatever? He said, no problem. Within an hour, we had 150 Boy Scouts and church members and parents filling sandbags and loading them onto county trucks to get them down to help save this community of our neighbors on the Tohono O'odham Reservation. Good choice. It was an honor to compete with Eric, and it'll be an honor to work with him. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robertson. Would anyone else like to approach the podium at this time? All right, seeing none, we'll close the call to the public. At this time, that'll move us to consent agenda. Consent agenda includes items 8.1 through 8.5. Council members, do you have any questions, concerns that you'd like to discuss before we move forward? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? So moved by Councilmember Learman and seconded by Councilmember Wade. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. At this time, we'll move to the regular agenda item. That's item 9.1. I'll go ahead and read that. An ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Maricopa, Arizona, approving and adopting an amendment to the city's zoning map to rezone approximately 28.3 acres of land generally located at the southeast corner of North John Wayne Parkway and West Bolin Road within the City of Maricopa incorporated limits from general mixed use and traditional zoning to planned area development as described in zoning case PAD 22-03. The parcel of land is located in the portion of Section 34, Township 4, South, Range 3, East. You all know where that's at, right? Of the Gila and Salt River Meridian and Pinal County, Arizona. This is for discussion and action, and Rudy, you're going to lead us in the conversation.
Yes, Mayor Smith, council members, welcome. Councilmember Gettle, congratulations. Rodolfo Lopez, Rudy Lopez, Development Services Director for the City of Maricopa. Mayor, council members, as mentioned, this is a request for plenary development, as stated in the description. And as it relates to the development process, this is a PAD. This is a rezoning request itself. We're not at the stage for this project where it's deciding the look, the feel of the buildings. This PAD is setting the parameters of the land use itself. It's different from a typical rezoning, where rezoning, we consider it more of a conventional rezoning from residential zoning to commercial zoning, straightforward from the city zoning code. With a PAD, planning developments are designed for exceptional, well thought out development patterns that provide exceptional creativity to a land use to the city itself. And the PAD establishes its own development standards for the project. As mentioned, the site location, it's within our Copper Sky Regional Park area. Highlighted in the yellows are the subject parcels that's being rezoned. And again, this is John Wayne Parkway and Bowling Road of the southeast corner. Here is the existing zoning. In the bluish teal is the transitional zoning existing. The darker teal is in the middle is the mixed-use general zoning, which has the La Quinta and the remaining vacant parcels in the middle. And again, this subject parcel itself, which is the corner of Bolin and John Wayne Parkway and the existing police substation and a portion of the existing dog park and soccer fields, is being rezoned tonight to Plan A development. So as mentioned earlier, the PAD is beyond the conventional zoning. The PADs are designed for exceptional, well thought out planned development. This PAD, as presented in the staff report in your exhibits, establishes standards such as setbacks, restricted permitted use tables, its own parking ratio standards. With this type of development that you're seeing in here, it's truly what we call a mixed-use product itself. So the parking ratios are downsized because of the type of walkability that we're going to see from this project itself. Conceptual land use plan is developed, a conceptual open space and connectivity plan, circulation and architectural design guidelines is established as well as part of this PAD development. So again, it's getting beyond the baseline of a zoning, but more creativity, exceptional type of standards for this project. This gives you an idea, again, the subject parcels in pink. The subject parcels in pink is referred to the medical campus, and the bluish areas refer to the innovation campus. And again, these are the subject areas that's being rezoned. This is not locked in stone at this time, but just to give you an idea of the type of intensity land use that we envisioned for this area that's going to create this vibrancy of exceptional design. The medical campus will include health and medical, plaza gathering, condominium residential, hotel, apartment residential, and a sports academy, all shown in the legend there. To further illustrate the vision of this PAD and the possibilities that it's going to drive the parameters of this project, here are a couple of renderings of the medical campus. This rendering gives you a southwest off of John Wayne and Bolin, looking southeasternly to the site on that corner there. But these are, again, this is not to decide the look and feel of this building, but just to give you an idea what the type of parameters that we're setting up the development to be. Again, another view. This is now the innovation campus, looking eastwards towards the park. On that right-hand side is more the border of the Copper Sky site itself. Again, we're still more on the southern side of the property where it faces adjacent to Palo Brea. And right between Palo Brea and this development is a proposed large landscape green strip or green belt to further create that buffer between the two land uses, the residential and the medical campus or innovation campus itself. As required by the city's zoning code and state law requirements of any type of land use request, this went through the proper process of advertising the local newspaper and also the required newspaper of the city, which is the Casa Grande Dispatch, but also the Maricopa Monitor. Notification letters were sent out within 600 feet of the subject parcels, and at the time of writing this report, staff has not received any formal comments regarding the request itself. A neighbor meeting was held by the applicant earlier this year, which can be found in the Exhibit D packet. And they were mainly just general questions about the project and what it was, but nothing major posing of it itself. General plan conformity. These are one things that we acknowledge. Part of the rezoning itself is to identify how this conforms to the general plan. Several goals and objectives are being met out here. I'm not going to read each one, but it gives you an idea of the types of general plans that the voter-approved document supports, and this type of development is going to continue that, pay tribute to meeting those general goals and objectives of the city's voter-approved general plan. As required by the City Zoning Code, the Planning and Zoning Commission made the following findings in the recommendation to City Council. The amendment is consistent with the general plan, subdivision ordinance, and any applicable master plans of the city. The site is physically suitable for the type and intensity of the land use being proposed. Adequate transportation facilities is provided, and the development carries out the more efficient use of land and excellent use of architecture and site design, which all were adhered to, and the P&Z Commission has found that to be in favor. With that being said, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of the PAD case number PAD 2203, subject to the conditions of approval stated in the report and is amended by the P&Z Commission. Mayor, council members, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. We also have Dr. Ed Johnson as well here to answer any questions on behalf of the applicant.
Council,
Mayor.
any questions? Councilmember Marsh?
Hit the button.
Here we go. At the northwest corner of this property, there's an artifact left over from the previous construction of Desert Cedars subdivision. It's listed on the plat as Desert Cedars Tract Q. The Desert Cedars HOA is currently going through a voting process to approve the sale of Tract Q to the developer. Could we include that artifact in this zoning change, please?
Councilmember, it is included.
Okay, thank you.
Council, any additional questions?
Yeah.
Vice Mayor Manfredi.
Rudy, thank you. Great job. I'm the one that pulled it. This was on consent when we first started, got the agenda, and I pulled it just for clarity. I wanted to pull it not because I don't approve of it. I wanted to pull it because I wanted people to hear another presentation of it and why we're doing it, or at least why we're voting on it. This is a great project for the city of Maricopa. It brings health and medical to us. It brings places for people to gather. It brings the condominiums that some people want and being able to buy an apartment instead of. It brings a lot to the city. And I also, the minute this came out, within minutes, I got a phone call on it, and they said, the dog park. And I just want people to know that the dog parks are being moved, or the dog park will be moved, and there'll be new dog parks before any of this happens. Same with the fields. And the fields that it's covering up in this photo here, the fields will be replaced before any of this happens. So don't worry about the dog parks or the fields. They will be replaced maybe in a different area or somewhere else within the city. But that was the reason I pulled it, and thank you so much for your presentation.
Council, any additional questions? So Rudy, in reading through the documentation, I noticed that in some of the public comments, they had questions about traffic. As the Vice Mayor indicated, they had questions about the dog park, the ball fields, the height of the buildings, and the staff very kindly let them know that this is just the zoning process. Those questions can be asked and answered during the more detailed planning phase. So would you just talk a little bit about that and when that will be?
Yeah, so the next step, let me go back to the timeline. So the step number 3, step number 2 is if they decide to subdivide the land further beyond what it is right now to just one parcel. But step 3 is when we get into the nuts and bolts of the design of the building, the looks of it, and the potential, any concerns of privacy issues or things like that. We can work on architectural design and location and buffers. But that's where we go into details of the site planning, the landscaping, the parking, traffic impact analysis, further detailing what improvements will be made as part of this project.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. I think it's important for the residents to understand how that process works, and an approximate timeline for coming to step 3? Any idea?
At this time, the applicant has moved forward at risk with the northeast-west portion of the parcel, the medical campus. They have started the site plan review of it. So step 3 is in process right now, and we're hopefully get to P&Z Commission within the next 30 or so days. And just for the record, that development review permit also includes another 600 feet notification process in addition to this as well.
So they should see that coming if they're
Correct.
interested. Very
Right.
good, very good. All right, any other additional questions? All right, seeing none, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
So moved by Vice Mayor Manfredi and seconded by Marsh. Any additional conversation, questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And that motion carries. That brings us to the end of the agenda. Do I have a motion to?
So moved.
Oh, so moved by Councilmember Gettle and seconded by Councilmember Marsh. This meeting's adjourned. Thank you all for attending.
Thank you.